Welcome to post-race at Talladega Superspeedway. We are here after the conclusion of the Cup Series Geico 500. That's us. 73 lead changes, some fuel saving, clean first two stages, and some pretty terrifying wrecks at the end. And Tyler Reddick in victory lane, and he won with a special guest there. Brad, who was it?
It was 2311 Racing co-owner Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has been at a few races at times in the past, and one thing that Tyler Reddick actually talked about is that he's been in a few races, but these just things hadn't gone their way. So it was a very emotional moment from Michael Jordan celebrating with the team, and also in victory lane, Michael Jordan picking up Tyler Reddick's son Bo. It's like someone has said. Bo probably has no idea what's going on right now, but years from now, he'll look back on this and think it was pretty cool.
Yes, indeed. It was Reddick's sixth Cup win, his first of the season. It continues the streak of Toyota dominating victory lane. Reddick got the win after he was able to navigate a last lap crash. We will get into that last lap crash later. For now, though, some of the big stories at the beginning of the race for the first two stages was they were very clean. There were no cautions for cause, and there was a bunch of fuel saving. At some points, drivers were going 5 seconds slower, than the all-out pace. Brad, what did you see? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we saw this at Daytona, and as much as I think you wanted to tell yourself you wouldn't see it again, we did. And I think it's just a case of, the crew chiefs and engineers have figured out a way to be successful and run laps. This is kind of the box you're in right now, so it's a case where until someone figures out something different, I think this is what you're going to see at tracks like Daytona and Talladega. And you talk to the drivers, they don't like it. If you're a pure restrictor plate racer, like guys like Ricky Stenhouse and Keselowski, so to speak, this isn't probably how they would desire to race on a plate track, but it's just kind of the state of things right now until somebody figures out how to work your way out of it.
Yes, and I do think part of it is the fact that stages 1 and 2, they're 60 laps. They're long enough to where the teams cannot make it to the end of the stage without pitting for fuel. So it becomes a game of, trying to save as much fuel as you can so you can have a shorter stop at the end of the stage. And I do think that's part of it. We'll see if that changes down the road, but obviously fuel saving is definitely a part of it now. But it was a relatively clean first two stages. Chase Elliott won the first one. Austin Cindric won the first one. Joey Logano won the second. Ford, dominated once again. Then towards the final stage, we were racing again, and there was a couple wrecks. First one took out Christopher Bell, and then the second one was a very frightening wreck between four Toyota drivers. Those drivers were John Hunter Nemechek, Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, and Bubba Wallace. They were all kind of running in a line. Trying to, after pitting, but unfortunately, they got together. Eric initially walked out of the care center, was released. What did he say?
Well, he said initially he felt fine, but we actually learned later on this evening that he was actually being transported to a local hospital here in the area, and this is as of Sunday night. And the thing that kind of was noticeable, because you could hear his in-car audio, he said after the wreck, "My back hurts," and then he indicated to us outside the media center with the media that he was feeling okay. So you don't want to speculate any further, but obviously he has been transported to a local hospital to be observed.
Yes, and we wish well wishes for him. We hope he is okay there because that was a very nasty hit head-on into the wall. And after that, we also got to talk to Denny Hamlin. He wasn't able to see much, though. He just saw them wrecking in front, and then he was about to make it through, but then he got clipped by Nemechek and sent in at the last minute and sent into the inside wall. After that was the only caution until the final laps. We were running side by side. It was at the end. It was Michael McDowell who won the pole and led the most laps, 36 of them, leading the inside lane. And there was a bunch of Fords behind him: Brad Keselowski, Noah Gragson. And on the outside, it was the Toyotas led by Tyler Reddick with Truex and Ty Gibbs behind him. Heading into turn 3, the final lap, the Fords on the inside broke clear, and that allowed them to make some moves. Brad tried to move up and then down back to the inside to try and get by McDowell. McDowell, was successful in the first block but missed the second. Got turned in front of the field, And then about half a dozen cars got collected there. Throughout all of that, Brad finished second because Tyler Reddick was able to get by, and that is Brad's 5th runner-up finish since his last win at Talladega in 2021. Obviously, frustrating result for them. Brad, what did they have to say? He had to say after the race.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Keselowski was wanting to get the win, but it was just a case of, it was kind of like a joint thing about the force, like you said, because Keselowski almost got the win. And, he's still a factor at plate tracks, and he was that this weekend, and he still made one of the best at the plate racers out there. But right around him, you had Noah Gragson getting his career best finish of 3rd, and Gragson, it was a case of he was pretty solid most of the day today. He actually has career high for points scored, and he even talked about how it's good to have good days like this. So you tell he's really enthused about it, and he even mentioned that Keselowski more or less thanked him for how the pushes he got. So I think anytime a driver who doesn't have a great amount of experience in this series has veterans say can kind of recognize, appreciate the way you raced me, and they can trust you in the draft. I mean, that's a huge win for a young driver.
Yes, indeed. There are also a bunch of other teams that got much-needed finishes. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished in the top 5. Daniel Hemmer got a top 10, his first of the year for Colleague and Cup. And Anthony Alfredo, driving the part-time 62 Beard Motorsports car, also got a top 10. A very solid weekend for him after finishing 3rd in the Xfinity race the day before. As for the drivers that involved in the wreck, McDowell is obviously very disappointed, also, apologetic considering that he missed the block. He said it was just a little too late. And he's disappointed, obviously, because, he had the win in sight had he just made that move a little bit earlier, but also, because it wrecked their car and a bunch of others were collected as well. And, it was also a pretty, I guess, for lack of better words, a spectacular wreck because we saw that Corey LaJoie got over and flipped on his side, and also Josh Berry got in the air as well. What happened was, while they were, trying to navigate through the wreck, LaJoie's right front kind of launched off of Berry's left rear, and then that's what they've been both airborne. They both managed to cross the line though. Berry in 16th, Corey in 18th, unofficially the last time I've checked. And obviously Corey said that was his first time flipping in a big stock car, and he said 10 out of 10 would not recommend. But he was all right, and he was also, very glad to cross the finish line. Same with Berry, and for both of them, it's just a matter of, once the wreck starts, it's the last lap, no one's really going to lift, and they just had to kind of push their way through. There was others involved, like I think Carson Hocevar put it best. I asked him what he saw after, and he just said, just smoke. That's all I saw. So obviously, quite the exciting ending at Talladega. Once again, Toyota, Chevrolet dominating, and congrats to Tyler Reddick, and we wish the best for Eric Jones. That is all from Frontstretch. I am Steven Stumpf. He is Brad Harrison, and we will see you guys next week at Dover. Hi, this is Steven Stumpf. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out the 2 videos beside me, and for more racing content, visit frontstretch.com.